the executive. The third reason is that the pork barrel system offends the accountability provisions of the Constitution by consistently demonstrating over the past decades that it is impervious to practical control and accountability measures. We say impervious because there are already clear constitutional and statutory guidelines with respect to the implementation of the PDAC. One of the constitutional provisions is that the Constitution prohibits members of Congress from being financially interested, whether directly or indirectly, in any project or program of the government. That is given the background of the pork barrel, that is a clear violation. Because Congress can let me rephrase that. It is unconstitutional because it is impervious to practical control and accountability measures. The COA report suggests that there were certain governmental requirements that were violated consistently for the 3-year period, 2007 to 2009. One of that is that, as I mentioned, that a congressman cannot be financially interested in any government project. Second is that any government project should be subject to public bidding. As I mentioned, by a mere endorsement letter from a congressman or senator, the public bidding requirement is done away with. The next ground is that the pork barrel system is a superfluous and unnecessary mechanism that offends the provisions of the Constitution on local autonomy and the local government code. Under the local government code, there are bodies called local development councils. And one of the striking features of this body is that a congress of the district under which the local government falls is automatically a member of this local development council. And what's the function of the local development council? The function is to identify projects for the upliftment of the particular local government unit. So we see here already a structure that's put in place by Congress to handle the supposed interests or concerns that PDAC or the pork barrel seeks to address. You see, in the case of Filconsa versus Enriquez, the Supreme Court said that the congressmen are in the best position to identify and determine what needs to be done in their local districts. That's why the Supreme Court allowed members of Congress to participate in the project implementation, or at least identification. But beginning with the local government code of 1991, then the function sought to be imposed by the Supreme Court to the congressman can be effectively dealt with by the local development council. So it's clear that there is a superfluity. The members of Congress are merely performing a similar function to the local development council. So this can be done away with. And lastly, the pork barrel system enables the continued non-realization, if not outright violation, of various constitutional mandates, including the proscription against political dynasties. Simply put, because the pork barrel allows a congressman, through the intermediary of a bogus NGO to pocket funds coming from the government. These unaccounted for funds are now being used by members of Congress to perpetuate themselves in public office through patronage politics. And so, we see here that the evils spawned by the pork barrel system is not contained within the national level, but also spills to the local level, which is ironic because the purpose of the pork barrel is to assuage the ills in the local level. So to summarize, the pork barrel system is unconstitutional on 5 grounds. One is that the pork barrel system violates separation of powers. 2, the pork barrel system transgresses the principle of checks and balances. 3, the pork barrel system offends the accountability provision of the Constitution. 4, the pork barrel system is a superfluous and unnecessary mechanism because of the local government code instituting the Local Development Council. And lastly, the pork barrel system enables the continued non-realization, if not outright violation, of various constitutional mandates, including the proscription against political dynasties. That will be all. Thank you.
3.8 billion, contributed by 10 million OFWs. So this year it should be more, maybe about 6% more. The budget for 2014 is 2.3 trillion pesos. And I understand the government will try to borrow $800 billion to augment this. So you're speaking a lot of money, and we cannot, therefore, we don't need, therefore, corruption. This pork barrel issue is worth 24 billion pesos. You can imagine how many schools, how many classrooms that can be built, how many soldiers can be well equipped, and so forth. But anyway, you all know that. So the next speaker is from the, I would say, he has different hats. No? He's a businessman, he's a pastor, he's also a politician, being a former councilor of the city of Manila, 6th District. He ran for Senate, and I voted for him because I like his platform, flat tax, flat tax. And maybe he may want to share that later on. He is also involved with the anti-drug campaign, and he's a pastor of the Lord's Vineyard Church. He's an advocate for the conversion of the PDAF and other discretionary funds of politicians to tuition vouchers for students and capital for business. Ladies and gentlemen, the young, able, energetic Greco Plarica.
Well, and Felicia, and of course, for all our leaders and friends, the petitioners who joined us to file the petition, we won round 1. For the first time in history, I think this has never happened. The entire pork barrel of the legislative department, including the Malapari funds of the president, has been stopped because of legal reasons. And I think that's one thing we should celebrate. And we should pray for and really prepare for the oral arguments on October 8th. To open my little speech on the pork barrel petitions which we filed. September 21, a couple of days ago, I believe September 21, I was contemplating on the nation that our heroes envisioned and the nation that we are living on today. I'd like to read it to you. 41 years after martial law, this is no longer the society our young heroes fought for. History enlightens the purposes of the Constitution. How it was structured tells us why, and how government was created, To best appreciate these dreams, the young national heroes had is to look at the very writings of the very first Constitution they wrote in 1899. This is the only Constitution that directly expresses the desires, dreams, and visions of these great young heroes had for our nation.